Welcome to Fullness of Grace. I'm Father Quan Tran, and today's topic will be living with Mary, living Advent with Mary as our model. And as we know, Advent is a time of preparation for the coming of Jesus. He comes to us during Christmas, He comes to us at the second coming, and He comes to us now in the present moment of our lives. So by imitating Mary and her qualities and her dispositions, we're able to receive all the graces that God wants to give us. So the first quality of Mary is humility, this emptiness, this poverty in spirit that allows her to be empty, to be receptive to the Lord. She always refers to herself with, I am the lowly handmaid of the Lord. I am His lowly servant. So this dispositions of not having anything, of being poor, nothing in her hands, so that she may focus on God and to desire Him and His coming. So that we know that this is the opposite of the world. The world has full of stuff, and they're trying to acquire even more things, especially during this Advent season. It starts right after Thanksgiving with Black Friday. There's this frenzy of consumerism, materialism, and commercialism. And so people are constantly filling themselves up with things and thinking that they will be happy after they acquire these things. And then in doing so, they miss out on this receptivity, this openness to God and His coming. So we too can learn this from Mary. So during this Advent season, let us simplify our lives. Let us eliminate what's not essential so that we may focus on what is truly essential, the coming of Jesus. Let us be empty our hearts. Let us make room for God in our hearts. Let us come to Him with empty hands so that we may receive all the graces that He wants to give us. The second quality that leads from this poverty of spirit is union with God. Being free from the things of the world, being detached from the things of the world, we're able to focus on God and to receive what He wants to give us, to receive Himself when He comes. And so we know that Mary was always united to God, always one with God in mind, in heart, and will. And so this union requires recollection. And we know that Mary was a contemplative. She pondered all these things in her heart. And so being quiet, being empty, being humble, she is able to unite herself to God, to be one with Him. And this recollection is foreign to our world today. As you know, people are so distracted with so many things. There's this lack of recollection. People can't sit still. They get agitated. They are restless. Nobody can sit still. People are constantly looking at their phones or checking on something or doing something. And this takes away from our union with God. We can't spend time with God. We can't unite ourselves to Him if we are so distracted and bombarded by so many things. So let us put away all the things that we don't need to deal with during this Advent season so that we may be available to God and to unite ourselves to Him. Let us try to learn to be recollected, to be still, to be at peace, to be calm, so that we may receive God as He comes to us. You know, Eucharistic adoration is a wonderful way for us to develop this contemplation, this recollection. And I started doing more Eucharistic adoration recently. And that's where, in the beginning, it's hard because we are restless and we're not used to it. But the more we spend time with Jesus in the Blessed Sacrament, the more we are able to receive His peace, His love, so that we may be detached from all the distractions and the craziness of the world and experience that peace. And the third thing that leads from union is joy. It's that joy and peace that Jesus wants to give us when we are united with Him, when we truly know Him. And this is the peace and joy that the world cannot give, nor can it take away. So it only comes from Jesus Himself and from knowing Him and being united to Him. And the world, of course, does not know this peace or this joy. Everybody is searching for this true happiness, but they're searching for it in the wrong places, in gifts, in people, in parties, in all these things. They think they will find their true peace and their joy, but they don't. So oftentimes during this Christmas season, people sense a certain type of sadness, a certain disappointment. They think there should be more, but after all the festivities and the presents and the parties, there is this kind of emptiness. And that's because their focus was on the wrong things, on things that can never give them true peace and happiness. So we can only find our true peace, our true joy in God alone. And so that's what he wants to give us. So during this Advent season, let us imitate Mary by being by uniting ourselves to God and experiencing his joy and his peace, to be one with him. So we need to take time out to spend time with God in prayer and to desire him, to know him, and to love him, and to receive him and all the gifts that he wants to give us. So that's how we should spend this Advent, very contrary to our culture, very different than the world. And so we can imitate Mary, and especially her qualities of being humble, of being recollected, and experiencing God's joy, so that we may fully receive all the graces that God wants to give us, and be ready to welcome him when he comes to us at Christmas, at the second coming, and in the present moment. Have a blessed Advent.